What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a full, honest, unbiased review of the 2024 Chevy Malibu LT. This is actually a rental car. My car is currently in the shop right now having some body work done, but I'm the first one to drive this car. They just got it on the lot and I was able to actually take it as my rental. So I'm going to take you guys inside with me and show you guys pretty much where everything is and how it feels and the ergonomics of everything and what I like and don't like about the car. One thing right off the bat, as soon as I got in this car for the first time, I did notice that I had a huge amount of legroom in this area. A lot of cars that I've driven in the past, and even an SUV that I did drive before this thing, there was not enough space for my knees. I'm 6'2", and it's funny that this thing was actually more spacious inside for my legs. While we're talking about space, I just want to say that I love how everything is spaced out. It actually is a pretty good setup. I don't think anything's too crazy out of whack where the different buttons are. You have your temperature controls here. And while we're on that topic, I will say that I love that not everything is in the screen. Nowadays, with everyone, having all these added driver assisting features on these cars, it's making us more lazy as a society from not paying attention. So actually having these buttons here to change your temperature, we got heated seats. This is actually somewhat loaded as a vehicle. Having these buttons here right inches away from where your hand could be resting, instead of having to go tap through the screen while you're driving as a distraction, I do love that feature. Like I said, you can actually still go into these settings and still change your climate. These still are here just in case the passenger wants to use them or you guys want to fight over the air. But I just really love this, that I didn't even have to even look. I just, got used to where the things were. This car does feature the auto stop, which I turn off immediately because I do hate this. I know it's for fuel economy, but I do hate this as a feature. On any new car, I always turn, oh, I'm actually getting hot. I didn't realize I left that on still. I do actually turn this off the second I get in a car because I just hate when the car shuts off at a light or I'm at a stop sign for too long. While we're in this area, I will say that the screen, this area does look modernized. As a 2024, it should, but I was kind of a little disappointed, not gonna lie, at this screen right here. It does look a little bit outdated. I do think that they could have done a little bit better with this screen. A lot of the competitors nowadays with, being in 2024 model, they could have done a little bit more to this to make it not look as like analog looking. It just looks a little bit low budget and they just kind of slapped a basic screen in there. I don't know if other Chevys in different models of higher trims might have a different setup here. It does have some of the modern features like the lane mitigation and the collision assist. As for the collision assist, obviously unless I'm driving, I can't really see, but the light for the collision assist does pop up right in line. If you're sitting at 2 grand and you're just cruising on the highway, if your RPMs are at 2,000 RPMs, the light does pop up right behind that. So unfortunately, even though they're trying to help you, letting you know that you're traveling closer to the car in front of you and it does light up orange if you get close and you're not on the brake. A lot of the new cars are doing that. But unfortunately, I just think that they should have put it down closer to the where, just the seatbelt light is showing me right now. I think that they should have done it a little bit lower. As for storage space, like with any economy sedan, decent sized glove box. I mean, it's not huge, it's kind of average. Inside the armrest here, there's actually pretty deep. It's actually not bad. And there is only one section though. I know some cars have that extra pop-up, but there is only one section here. There is not any kind of auxiliary hookups at all in here that I can see. Even though you don't have any hookups inside of the console here, you do have your auxiliary and USB ports and your 12 volt here to plug in any kind of accessories. We do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto built into the car. So, just sync up your phone, you can go right away listen to your music. Honestly, it's not that small of a car. It's actually pretty spacious. So let's go and take a look inside and see how I fit as a person who's 6'2" in the back of the seat. Honestly, I actually have some decent headroom. I mean, my seat's pretty far back right now in the front, and I actually still have a little bit of space right here for my knees. I'm not too crammed, but it's kind of difficult to base it off of me when, most cars aren't having a giant sitting in the back seat of them. I do fit back here, so that's a plus, because you know there is some sedans and even some crossovers that I do not fit in the back of. Obviously, for anyone who's watching this review isn't looking to buy a rocket ship for any means, this is obviously a review to see if this thing is a good commuter car and a good daily, and so far I honestly say it's been a great daily. It's gotten me from A to B, hopefully it better. I mean, it's only got 100 miles on it. So the power plant under this thing is a 1.5 liter turbo. Obviously, like I said, it's not a rocket ship, but it is putting out 163 horsepower and 180 foot-pounds of torque rated from the factory, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Been getting great fuel economy out of this thing, which I should, being such a small, you know, engine and being a turbo, you know, helping fuel economy. The price point, I believe, is around $26,000. Depends on, you know, what trim model you get for this car. So as for quality of the materials that are used in the car, obviously it is a economy car. It's not a luxury sedan. It's not like, you know, a nicer, you know, sportier Lexus or something per se. I will say that, you know, just the styling aside, it honestly isn't bad for the price point, depending on how loaded you get the car. The seats themselves are actually, you know, they're not bad. They're, you know, these are just basic cloth seats. Like I said, that they are heated though in this model. The ride to work back and forth to me about 35-40 minutes hasn't been, you know, I haven't noticed anything like you know, it's not like they're sore to ride in. Obviously, like I said, this is not a luxury sedan, so you do actually have kind of like, you know, fair styling, I would say. It's not super cheap, but you know, I wouldn't say it's obviously the highest quality material. But honestly, no, it still feels nice. It's a decent styling. It's not bad. I have seen some cars that I absolutely hate the setup over here. So everything's in a good spot. You know, the handles have a good grip to them. You know, they seem fairly sturdy. The locks, you know, the lock areas. It's kind of a nice styling on that, I guess. The doors themselves, you know, they're actually, you know, they're pretty light, honestly. But then again, I could just be used to the fact that my Charger doors weigh like 1,000,000 pounds each. I will say it's kind of weird that they continued this little kind of like cloth thing that they have on the armrest material here along the dash. It's a little bit different. But you know, Chevy decided to go with that. Here, this area is actually well organized. I've seen some cars, you know, change this area up, and it, you know, really screws up how, you know, you're gonna put your drink down here and it's in the way of these other buttons. But I will say that they did a pretty good job with aligning this whole area here. You got your parking brake right behind here. Right after the shift knob here, you have, you know, other two buttons like a parking sensor and then your traction control button. But everything is pretty much within reach. Nothing's kind of crazy and you have to reach over here to do something to take your eyes off the road. Being an LT in this model particularly, you actually do have a sunroof, which is actually really nice, and it actually works in two different ways. Surprisingly, my Charger, I have to manually open my shade and then I can crack open my sunroof. This one actually has an automatic shade, and then you can actually just crack it to vent it, like obviously most sunroofs, and then fully open the sunroof after. So this is a push button start, which is nice. Obviously a lot of the new cars do have that. All right, so I'm gonna take you guys for a ride with me. Like I said, I already drove the car for the past couple days, but let's just talk about, you know, how the car feels, how the car handles. I will say the backup camera is actually really clean. I've seen some recent 2024 models that the backup camera really wasn't that great quality, considering that it is 2024. That's kind of unexpected, but I will say, yeah, the backup camera is really good. It's clear. It actually does beep at you, unlike some other models that don't do that either. Not to name any names. After driving this car for the past couple days, it's not that bad when it comes to the acceleration. Like I said, you do kind of have to get into it a little bit more to kind of get moving. It's not obviously really a, you know, a low-end torquey kind of vehicle, but again, if you're watching this review, you're not trying to buy a low-end torquey vehicle. You're not trying to buy a muscle car. This is going to be a daily driver and a commuter to and from work every day. The steering response, I've driven some cars where the steering's kind of like lackluster when I actually kind of like feel what's going on. You still feel pretty connected while you're driving. So something I will say that's actually something that people gripe a lot about online is you know, road noise. I want to really hit on some subjects that people that will be watching this video that would be, you know, thinking about and, you know, inquiring on. Surprisingly, the road noise actually isn't that bad. I mean, they did a pretty good job with the baffling in here. Usually in like lower class, you know, economy vehicles, I tend to notice that the road noise isn't like, you know, the greatest, not being like, you know, more of a luxury sedan or the higher price point. But it honestly really isn't that bad. I mean, even on the highway at cruising, you know, the road noise and the tires obviously have to do with it as well, but the road noise really isn't that bad. And the engine, it's, you know, not really my cup of tea per se, but you literally don't even know that it's running. And to some people, you know, that might appeal to them. And if you are, then that's awesome. When I turn this thing on and turn it off, you don't even feel, you know, that like the engine's running. Like I said, you can barely hear it when you get on a little bit more. I mentioned the road noise only because of the fact that I had to laugh when my wife and I purchased her RAV4, that people complained about the engine noise being too loud. I really didn't think that the engine was that loud. Like you can hear it through the car. People complained that the engine noise was too loud. In other Toyota models, you don't really hear the engine as much, I guess. But this thing, you know, you really only hear it if you get on it. You know, you don't throttle a little bit more if you had to do some passing. You're not dragging racing anyone in this kind of car. I have had to actually jack on the brakes a couple times, you know, driving in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. But the brakes actually, you know, better be good because they're brand new. But the brake response is good. You know, it's normal. I don't feel anything out of sorts. Everything's pretty much fair when it comes to, you know, braking and cornering and turning. You know, the car responds, you know, it's not obviously super sharp, but you know, for what it is, you know, it's an economy car and I think it's, you know, perfectly fine. They do actually have on the dash some red lights that flash if you're about to go and hit someone, just to let you know. And you know, in addition to the traveling distance, it does have the basically the warning flash, some red lights on the windshield that shine up onto it that, hey, you're gonna go hit someone. Don't ask me how I know. So honestly, all in all, as a summary, if you are in the market and do not want to spend really more than the 30 grand price range for an economy sedan, I think that, you know, this could definitely be a competitor. You know, depends on, at the end of the day, I feel like it depends rather on, you know, looks, because I feel like a lot of the, you know, 4-cylinder economy sedans, you're pretty much going to get the same across the board. It's more about the ergonomics of the thing, you know, a little bit more about styling. Some might have a little bit extra features and options. Like this doesn't have blind spot monitoring, which was kind of different, that they would actually give you the lane departure assist, but not blind spot monitoring. That seems kind of weird to me. But yes, if you're looking for a commuter car to just get you from A to B, you know, you're looking for a basic economy sedan, I would say that the Malibu is definitely a contender. And I think anyone that is of the taller variety, or just even a little bit more broad-shouldered as well, I think that it wouldn't be a problem to really obviously try out and do your research, see what you like, and try out different cars of this size. But really, I'm very surprised about how much legroom I have in this thing, and I'm not even all the way back. So that's about all I have. I really do hope you guys got a lot out of this video, and at least just, you know, for my first impressions, tried to give you guys an unbiased, you know, opinion on this, you know, driving the first few days. Please do let me know in the comments below if I could have added anything. I really do hope that you guys got something out of this video to see maybe if you are interested in buying the car, or a few questions that you had. If you would like to give it a like, I would be much appreciative of that. And if you aren't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.